All right, so this is part one of the Evalidator portion of this lab, and what I wanted to do is to introduce you to how you can access ways of answering questions uh, about this FIA data across the state or across the county level in a way that using their interface called Evalidator. Okay, so here I've posed a couple of questions that maybe somebody wants to know. What's the area of timberland by county? What's the area of ownership by of timberland ownership in Haywood County? What is the volume of timberland by county that's in hardwoods and softwoods? What's the volume of the timberland in Haywood County by species? And then perhaps what is the live growth of timber in Haywood County to the harvest rate of live timber in Haywood County? That's that growth to harvest ratio. Okay, so these are just some of literally thousands of questions that you can answer in Evalidator. So basically, when you're going to Evalidator, all you want to do is do a Google search for it. You just type in Evalidator on your Google search line, and it will be the first thing that pops up. Okay. So you go ahead and you click on that. It looks a little cryptic, but once you have somebody walk you through, you can see how things work out pretty nicely. I'm going to explain, I think, in a later one, what this circle retrieval is about. That's pretty cool, but I think for now, we're just going to stick with some of the basic county level and state level things. Now, if you want to follow along, one thing that you probably should do is put this on pause and open up Excel and create a blank Excel book right now, okay? And then you can, basically what we do is we copy and we paste each Evalidator result into Excel. Their newer software that's kind of in beta form right now is a little slicker, and it actually exports in Excel, but it'll be another year or so, I think, before that stuff is ready. So basically, it's really simple to copy and paste, and I'll walk you through that. So I have my Excel spreadsheet open, and I'm just hitting Alt-Tab and moving back to the Evalidator screen. All right, so notice that let me zoom you down here a little bit. There's two boxes. There's this one here, and then there's this one here. And these are all variables of information that we can ask Evalidator, all based on the FIA data. And so you can see the top is area, the number of trees per seedling, number of trees seedling on timberland, volume on forest land, volume on timberland, biomass on forest land, biomass on timberland, carbon on forest land, carbon on timberland, average annual net growth on forest land and timberland, average annual mortality, that's just natural death on forest land and timberland, removals, so that's harvests or other types of removal on both forest land and timberland. What else? Downwoody material, biomass, area change, okay? And then you have that for both of these. Same data, okay? And that way you could take this data in the top box. I could select something here and make it if I want to, I could do, let's make it simple. Let's go, let's say I wanted to do volume of live trees, of saw-log portion of sawtimber trees on timberland, and I can divide that by the area of timberland. So it gives me volume per acre. And I could do that for the county level. I could do that for the state level. So that's what that's all about. Typically, more often than not, you don't have a denominator, but they do make that available for you. So what I'm going to do is we're going to keep it really simple the first time around. We're just going to go area of timberland. Okay? So I have that box selected. No denominator selected, and then I just scroll down to the bottom, and I could see all available inventories that are out there. Basically, I'll click that so you can see. I choose this only if I'm looking for to create trend data, but these are all the inventories that have FIAs ever created. Okay, so North Carolina's here. They basically started it in 1974. That was the first periodic survey, and the second periodic was in 84, then 1990, then 2002, and then they moved to the annual surveys. Okay, so this is the annual survey data, where they only go and they do a portion of all. And in the video before, I said there was 6,000 plots. There's only about 3,500 plots in North Carolina. Sorry about that faux pas. I don't know why I had 6,000 on my brain, but it's really only slightly over 3,500 in North Carolina. So, so they only do a portion of those in 2009, 2010, 2011. Okay, and then by 2016 they've got all 3,500 done, and then they start over again. All right. So I'm going to go back though, so you can see this is the one I would choose if I just wanted to get the most recent, and that's this limited the retrieval to only the most recent inventories. And I click continue. Basically, I have the same screen, but it's all limited to just the most recent data. Okay, makes it a little bit easier to scroll through. So I'm going to select North Carolina and click continue. Now I've got these page variables. I could break data up by pages. I could break data up by rows, and I could slice it up by columns. Let's go back to my first question. That I want to know what is the area of timberland by county. Okay, so I've already selected timberland, and now all I need to do is determine which one of these I need to click in order to have it separated by county. Okay, if I chose page variable, it basically would put a county on each page. I don't want that. I'm probably going to select the row variable. So you can see county, code, and name. All right, that's the one I'm going to select. I'm going to leave this one just all live stocking, and that's just going to show me how good the stocking is for each of those. When I'm ready to go, I just hit make sure show results is selected and hit continue. And there you have it. Okay, so here's the total timberland for the whole state. This is the timberland that's considered overstocked. Remember our stocking tables? That's kind of what it's based on. Fully stocked, medium stocked, and about 1.2 million acres are poorly stocked. Actually, about 2 million acres are considered poorly stocked or non-stocked. All right. So then I have this information for every county, but probably the one I'm most interested in is this total. So I go down to North Carolina or Haywood County. I see I got about 208,000 acres. Okay, a little bit less than 250,000 acres is in timberland in Haywood County. All right, compared to all of the which is about 6,000 acres, I think, in Haywood County. But anyway, I mean 600,000. I can't remember. Anyway, but that's the area of timberland in Haywood County, and that's all ownerships. Okay, that's all the federal land, Park Service land, Forest Service land, state land, and private and industrial. So, so if I wanted to save this, oh, the other thing is the sampling error. If I scroll down, I'll get another table. What it gives us to me is how accurate is that data. Okay, and sampling error. Once that gets up over about 10%, we don't feel very comfortable with the data. All right, so these numbers are in percentages. So if you look at the whole state, all 3,500 plots taken together has less than 1% sampling error, which is pretty good, right? But if you start looking at each of the individual counties, you see that that sampling error goes way up, much higher than we really would like it to be. So usually what I'll do is if I'm trying to get regional type data, I'll include more counties. The more data you collect, the lower that sampling error becomes. Haywood County is about 16% sampling error, which is not hugely bad, but it's not great. If you scroll down and want to see how many plots are actually in each county, there's that 3,500 plots total across the state. All right, Haywood County has got about 1/10 of that, a little bit more than 1/10. It's got about 41 plots. Okay, and these are plots that they call non-zero plots. In other words, they are plots that exist and are being resampled. So that's the information that you get off this table. Tons of stuff, and then it describes all that information at the bottom. what these various things mean. So if I'm trying to save this into Excel, the easiest way of doing it is to hit the Control and then the A on my keyboard. I'm holding Control down and I hit A, and that selects all. The A means select all, okay? So it's all selected. Then I hit Control C for copy, okay? And now I'm just tabbing over to my Excel spreadsheet. Whoops, a little too far. And there it is. And then I can just go right mouse click and paste. And it pastes everything in there. Notice that everything, like I got this huge lettering and everything's kind of goofy looking. And that's okay. Notice everything is still selected. Alright? So before I do anything else, I'm going to go to the font size and I'm going to change that to 8. And then it gets a little bit easier to read. So there's that first table with the area, second table, third table with the plots. Okay? So I'm probably going to name this. I just go down to the sheet name and I'm going to call it Timberland by County. That way I know what that sheet's in. I'm going to click on my next sheet, get it ready so that I can dump data into that. Okay? I'm going to Alt, holding the Alt key down, and tab back into Evalidator. And now I just hit the back arrow. Okay? And I just kind of back my way out to that first screen. So here I am back at that first screen. Let's see what my second question was. What is the area of timber by ownership in Haywood County? All right, let's take a look at that. This time I'm just going to narrow it down to Haywood County. So again, I'm just doing area of timberland. Okay, and I'm going to limit my retrieval to the most recent inventories. And so I need to select North Carolina, because Haywood County is in North Carolina, right? Boom. Hit continue. And now I'm still going to avoid the page variable, but I'm going to do a couple of different things. I'm going to actually, I'm just going to do as a I'm just going to do a column variable. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to do ownership group. Okay? And in order to single out Haywood County from all the other counties, I'm going to just, I could do this and it would give me all the counties. Okay? But I want to just single out, I want to filter out Haywood County from all the other counties. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add and Clear Filters. So I've got ownership group, I've got timberland area by ownership group, and now I just want to filter it out for Haywood County. And look at that very first filter. Is because I'm looking at North Carolina data. It says, oh, well, is there just a particular county you want to do? And I say yes, and I just click on that, make sure it's highlighted, and then I can scroll down to the bottom. You see there's lots of ways you can filter your data. Okay, I hit show results. Boom, there you go. So there's my total acreage. All right, how much of that's in national forest, how much of that's in state and local, how much of that's in private. Okay, pretty cool, huh? I don't know why other federal didn't show up. We got Park Service land in there, but there you go. All right, and then it gives you the sampling error. Okay, and still, again, you know, we got pretty high sampling error. The less area and the less plots they have in there, the more the sampling error. So again, in order to save this, I would go Control A, Control C, move over to my Excel spreadsheet, and paste it in, and change the font. There we go. And save that as, I would save that as county, or Haywood County by ownership. Okay, so catch you in the next slide.